National Treasury is today hosting a media briefing at the GCIS Media Center to explain the technical process regarding the 2025 budget. The briefing, led by the Minister of Finance Enoch Godongwana, is live as we speak. Let's listen in.
And the proposed VAT increase sparked a rigorous debate, as is right in a healthy democracy. Today, there's a clarity that will remain at 15%. This decision was shaped not only by political debates, but importantly by the voices of South Africans. When people speak, we must also listen. And I'm encouraged by the passion shown. It reflects the seriousness with which we approach the hard choices needed to place our finances on a sustainable path. Protect the vulnerable and accelerate growth. I must say, part of the difficulty we've not been talking about. We're all new in South Africa to what is called coalition politics. And there are lessons to be learned, both by cabinet and the legislature, and by ourselves. I'm also pleased that we have agreed we will balance the budget without raising VAT while protecting vital services like education, health, and social grants. Going forward, the Treasury's focus is threefold. First, as I've indicated, we must balance the budget by managing our cost better. Raising other taxes besides VAT further was not an option. It would harm growth, savings, and jobs. Borrowing more would worsen our debt crisis. We already spend more than R1 billion a day servicing debt. We must do more with less, review government spending critically, root out waste. Every cent of public money must be spent wisely. The second issue, we must strengthen revenue collection. As you are aware, in the same budget, I'm making provision for SARS to collect more, particularly for those who still owe SARS, to deal with illicit trading. The third area, we must lay strong foundations for economic growth. Job creation is the number one priority. We must remove barriers to investment, unlock private sector capital, and expand opportunities for all South Africans. Through initiatives like Operation Vulindlela, which I assume you all know it by now, we have already seen what focused collaboration can achieve, and will now accelerate these reforms. The challenges ahead are serious but not insurmountable. If we work together, stay focused, and persevere, we can chart a better course for our economy and our people. That is my commitment to South Africans, and that is what we aim to achieve when we table the new budget on the 21st of May 2025. The statement before you, which I hope it has been circulated, outlines the various technical processes we will undertake in the period leading to the 21st of May, and we're here to take any further questions you may have on this particular matter. the DG has instructed me to tell you that between now and the 21st, I won't talk to you. It's a closed period. However much I would have liked to talk to you, that's an instruction from the DG. He normally gives us that instruction. He knows politicians like to waffle now and again, unfortunately. This is my last appearance until the 21st. Thank you very much. For today, utilize the opportunity and ask me as you can. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister.
You didn't.
Have they decided?
You're listening to Power Lunch Southern Africa, and that was the Minister of Finance, Enoch Godongwana. Now, I've got with me in studio Godfrey Mutuzwa, who's going to take us through the market wrap today. Godfrey, that was actually quite good that we were able to catch the minister just before that.
Yeah.
3 key points. He's talking about cost saving. He's talking about revenue collection a little bit better. What's the third element?
Yeah, he said the government also needs to make sure that the economy grows, and they take all measures to try to make sure that this economy grows. I would say there isn't really much new here that the minister is saying that's going to take the markets any further in terms of understanding how he's approaching shall we call it the third tabling of this budget. So perhaps I think what's key is perhaps in the follow-up questions that are going to be on how the minister is framing this budget. Because remember, when he framed the first one, he was assuming he'd be able to raise the value-added tax, which he was unable to. The second time, he thought he could raise it by just 0.5 percentage points. He wasn't able to. And now we know that increase completely off the table. So in terms of where he is going to find that 75 billion rand, I think that is the key focus of the market. And certainly between now and May 21, a lot of thinking in the market is going to be, what does the minister do? Is it cutting down on costs? Is it pressuring SARS to make sure that they raise the extra revenue that he's looking for? Or is he going to pin his numbers, rejig them a little bit and pin them on higher growth numbers, assuming that the economy is able to? Because once you've got growth going, your other numbers come down. So your deficit numbers will come down, et cetera, et cetera. So it's going to be very interesting indeed how he's going to be approaching this one.
And I think easy enough to manage cost, because with the right amount of
Yes,
we can say it should be,
because this is where the
right?
politics comes in, right?
As well as the revenue collection. But I think the most difficult one is business growth, economic growth. How does he go about securing economic growth? And there needs to be some certainty to sway the markets to some degree. Let's look at the markets today. I mean, already we're seeing South African shares with a record rally. We're looking at gold really still becoming the place to go to for most investors. And this is not just because of local, but we definitely are contributing to it.
Absolutely.
Your thoughts on where we are now, before we even consume where we are going?
Well, there's a disconnect between what we're seeing on the market and obviously what is happening within the South African market. Because one, you don't have a budget. You are how many months? We did April, May, now we are going into June, and we do not have a budget. So certainly the confidence that's flowing into the markets is not coming from a macro perspective, because we're still missing the budget, which is the key framework, picture builder, if you like, for the rest of government spending for the rest of the year. So this is more an external factor. We're really talking here about gold. It's been our saving grace, no question. And even when you look at where the gains that we are seeing have been coming over the past few days, it's mainly been the miners. Though, in part, what we also see is a little bit of buying of some of the banks as well as financial services companies after that big sell-off, following the teetering, if you like, on the brink of the government of national unity. So a little bit of money is coming back. And the fact that, of course, you've got the government of national unity originally as composed, still holding, is also feeding back a little bit of our confidence into the market. But really, this is more externally driven. We're going to be watching here now, from now until the May 21st, and see how much the minister is going to be, what kind of a budget the minister is going to be able to produce come that day when he stands in Parliament and presents it again for a third time. Yeah.
He looks pretty exhausted, and I'm hoping that he's going to stand the test of all the questions that are to come.
He's a little strung out, isn't he? Because he says, I am not going to be talking to you after all of this. This is the last time you're going to be talking to me, and you are only talking to me about this particular
and
matter.
opens his eyes. But let's go to the
It's a difficult time for the minister, no question.
very, very difficult time. But the JSE is in the green today, and we're hitting a couple of records. I see the benchmark index also in the green today. So speak us through some of that, and industrials and financials as well, lifting the JSE.
Yeah, as I was saying, I think in part it's that buying again that's flowing from confidence that's coming into the market that the government of national unity is holding. The Democratic Alliance, the second biggest party within the alliance, over the past few days, reassuring markets they are not going to walk away from the government of national unity, that they are going to do their very best to try to stay and make the government of national unity work. That's one plank. The other plank is obviously the fact that they are staying in part for the markets means that some of the policies that the markets have been certainly hoping will come through may still come through. And as you can see on your screen, it is really all gains right across the board, a little bit of money coming out of those resources. And that's in part because gold has come back from that $3,500 an ounce that we saw. Some people, though, talking about potentially $4,000 for gold per ounce this year, and that may well be just a breather. But in terms of the overall market confidence, we are also rising in part because right around the world, go to Europe, go to the US overnight, that we have seen gains coming right through. And that's in part because President Donald Trump has sort of tempered the rhetoric a little bit, even though he went after the Fed governor last night again and saying that he is not really doing the job that he is expected to do. So markets on tender hooks, but we are seeing broad gains in Asia, in Europe, and US pre-markets also showing potential for gains later on in the day.
Let's do a quick one, come back into a local story. Well, MTN Nigeria declaring dividend.
Yeah, it's been a tough time in Nigeria, isn't it? And we know that they've been struggling because they were unable to increase prices. So we had a briefing with the MTN Group CEO and his officials about 2 weeks ago where they were talking about the Nigeria situation. So one of the big things that they emphasized was the fact that they were allowed to increase prices. So mobile phone prices and data prices in Nigeria are not set by the mobile phone companies themselves. They are governed by the authorities. So for you to increase prices, you need approval. They were given an approval, and we've seen that coming through in the numbers that were reported today. You're talking about service revenue up 40%. The company is profitable in the first quarter, and also there was a dividend that was given. Reminding you, in the fourth quarter, there was a loss, there was no dividend.
Well, we've got so much more to cover, but surely we can ask you to join us. Go through to our website, www.cnbcafrica.com, and get all the additional news. Thank you to Mr. Godfrey Mutizwa for giving us a broader market overview.